Hey guys, my name is Imani, aka United Flow, and today I'm going to be doing a decks and dice. So basically we're going to be taking a look at my deck collection, and yeah. Here are my Oracle decks or guidance decks, therapy decks, basically a wide range. I'm judging these based off of a few criteria. Durability, shuffleability, inclusivity, travelability, uniqueness, or if it has its own voice, and 3 words to describe it. So getting right into it. Okay. We have Starseed Oracle. This is by Rebecca Campbell and Danielle Noel. This is a 53 card deck and guidebook. And the 3 words that I would use to describe this deck is airy, mystic pixie, love and light, all around a good feeling deck, a good vibes deck. Definitely Starseed vibes. The book looks like this. It is, I believe, 137 pages. These cards are standard Hay House dimensions, being 3.5 inches. So 3.5 inches by 5 inches. I'm not too sure about the dimensions of the box, but that's what these cards are. It sucks to say it, but the inclusivity is there, but like, it's diverse-ish. It's not as good as it could be. You have some black folks. You have talk of Egypt. There's a brown person. But they could have done a better job with this, for sure. I really like the pastel colors, a lot of purples, a lot of blues. Pretty much this is the entire color palette, and I really like it. It's not too stark, but it is involved, and I really appreciate that. This deck also has some type of app system. I haven't used it, but that is available for others if they would like to use it. It also comes with some type of system with regards to how you set up the cards. I never use it for this, but it's there for those that like that type of thing. When I use this deck, first off, this is my very first deck. First Oracle deck, first divination deck, first one ever, so it has a special place in my heart, and I really love it. This is the reason, I'm glad I came up on this card. This is the reason why I got this deck, because she looks like me, she's dark, she's gorgeous, and it's just really hard to find that in some decks. But yeah, I like some of the diversity, but still I would like to see more, especially with regards to bodies, with regards to their sizes, able bodies but seeing a lot of able bodies versus different types of bodies, basically. This deck does bend easily, but it's okay because sometimes you have to forfeit bendability if you want something a little bit more durable. But yeah, as you can see, they are a little bent, and that's the price you pay. That's totally fine with me. I would give this deck a 4.5 out of 5, primarily because the deck isn't travelable, which sometimes, you're not going to be taking this every which way, but it would be nice if they had a smaller type of deck, but it's not travelable really. Its durability is kind of in question, though. It's done well for me for almost a year now. Pretty much a year, actually. And its inclusivity, it kind of misses the mark on fat people or bigger people. A wide range of ethnicities. You kind of see just black folks and white folks, but you don't really see other type of folks, and I don't really like that. But yeah, 4.5. very affordable. Now we're going to move on to the next one. So next we have this numerology deck or numerology guidance cards, and I love these. This is another Hay House. This was made by Michelle Buchanan. I think she's really famous. But yeah, so this deck is also 3.5 inches by 5 inches. The book has 136 pages, I believe. It's glossy. It has this nice gloss. It has numbers as well as energy center or chakra color. So this would be purple and blue, and this would signify the throat energy center, and this would signify crown. I really like the wide range. Michelle Buchanan is a numerologist of sorts. This is a little older. It was put out in 2013. The other one was put out in 2020. And this is simple yet powerful. These are good for doing full-on spreads, but also just that one card like, oh, today, you know, I pulled 27, spiritual partnership. You could also say, or you could also see, basically, that this is pretty much as simple as it gets. Let me just try to open a few of these. So I give this deck a 5 out of 5. I love it. I use it pretty much all the time. It's one of my favorites. Its durability also plays a huge role. I like the gloss. I've had these also for almost a year, and they still look good. They still look really, 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 really good to me. They don't really bend like some other Hay House products. But yeah, the energy of this deck is light. It's action oriented, quick, straight to the point, no nonsense, and I like that. There's really not too much I can say about this deck because it is so simple, but there's a force behind it that I really appreciate. Okay. Next up, we have Moonology. This is, I think, another Hay House. And this deck is really good if you're into astrology, if you are into the moon. It is very femme forward. That's one of the words that I've used to describe this deck. It's outer space, but still in the same galaxy, and some people know exactly what I mean by that. I would say this deck is pretty durable, but it's still kind of like bending in a weird way from, you know, shuffling and all such as that. I really like shuffling like that, or like that, and it's really good for that, so the cards aren't too thick. This was made by Yasmin Boland, and the artwork is by Mix Rowan. Has different spreads, different moon phases. You really can't go wrong with this book. And it also has an app, kind of like the other Hay House products, basically. Let's see. So this book is 120 pages. I really like how simple and complex it is. So here you have Aquarius, full moon Aquarius, the water bearer. You have Aquarian type colors that you can also relate to energy centers. It's time to take action, new moon Aries. It's really simple, not too messy. North Node, step out of your comfort zone. You could work with this deck as simple, like starting out, or very novice vibes, and you can even work with this deck if you are seasoned. So novice or seasoned, you could use this deck. There's not much that I can say about inclusivity, obviously, because this is dealing primarily with the moon. But I feel like they did a good job with different colors, different energies, different vibes, and it's really easy to read and work with. I would give this deck a 4.8 out of 5. And again, this deck, its dimensions are standard Hay House, 3.5 by 5, and really good for astrologers or those that work with the moon, the moonology. Moving right along, we have our last Hay House product or deck, and this is the Super Attractor by Gabrielle Bernstein with artwork by Michaela Ezra. I'm not going to lie, I don't really use this deck too often. I mean, it does what it needs to do when it needs to do it. It is a 52 card deck. It's very watercolor vibes, obviously. Very watercolory. It's very vibrant. It is kind of general, but how specific can you be with, affirmation cards, basically? It's earthy, it's rich, it's generally good. Like, it's a general good deck. I would give this deck a 4 out of 5. Same dimensions as the other couple decks. There is no guidebook. I feel like that's totally fine. Like, it's self-explanatory. And this was put out in 2019, so it's kind of dated. Pastel for sure. I am patient knowing that whatever is of the highest bid is coming to me. It's vibes like that, which I can totally appreciate. Wide range of color. Still on the ground, but kind of abstract with the vibes. You don't really see people in this deck, and the people that you do see, they do all have a certain type of look, but it's kind of like, what can you really expect? I really love this card. I'm in awe of the magnificent guidance that is available towards me. That's the vibe of this deck. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Again, as I said, it's there for you when you need it, and it does what it's meant to do, basically. Alrighty? Okay. Next up, we have Legendary Ladies. And I really, 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 really wanted to love this deck, but I have some questions. First off, I think it's really lit that an Asian woman, or Asian American, I'm not sure which, but that they made this deck. They have other products that follow this same art style, and I really appreciate that. So this is the Legendary Ladies deck. It is a goddess deck, 58 goddesses to empower and inspire you. For the diversity factor, I would give this honestly a 4.5 out of 5, but for the entire deck, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5, just because it's so, like, it's not really durable at all, even though, like, everything else about it is pretty fucking great. I love the diversity, again, as I said. It really speaks to a wide range of goddesses. Some that you can research their history or their lore, and all such as that. For the guidebook, it is 78 pages. Again, stylized, simple, simplistic, beautiful. It has different spreads, and I really appreciate that. This would be good for, I don't really believe in giving children decks, but I know some people do, and that's totally fine. You do you. But this would be good for kids. This would be good even as just some type of learning deck. But yeah, this was made in 2020. And my 3 words for it are beautiful, diverse, and femme forward, obviously, because it's a goddess deck. They are all a certain size. That would be my only bone to pick with it. But still, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful deck. Next, we have my favorite of favorites. This is the Dr. Ebony Therapy cards. And I believe she just put out a therapy card set for teen women of color, Black women, and I really appreciate that. I love this deck because they have questions that you ask yourself, so I would use this, or I do use this, for shadow work, which could be seen as just a form of journaling. You could talk with somebody about it. So these aren't specific oracle cards, but I use them in conjunction with spirituality, and I think that's really important. It kind of sets up the framework to merge practicality and spirituality, psychology, and wellness in general. So they have it has 3 different factors. It has mental blocks, habits, and triggers. And that's what these different things are. You also have an emotions wheel. There's no guidebook, but you can make your own once you get done, or you could revisit some of these other ones. The vibe of this deck is honestly a labor of love. The vibe of this deck is each one teach one. The vibe of this deck is honestly really helpful and really therapeutic, honestly. You have a glossary, you have resources, a disclaimer, and I can really appreciate all of those things. So this deck is about 3.5 inches by 3.45 inches by 2.45 inches, and I would give this deck a 5 out of 5. Easy. Okay, next. Lastly, of my oracle decks, we have the Amenti Oracle Feather Heart deck, or Living with a Feather Heart, The 4 Ideals of Not in Daily Life by Jennifer Sogini. And I really wanted to love this deck. I just got it, so I haven't spent as much time with it as I have some other decks. I think this is a great box. It's kind of hard to get into, but I really appreciate the packaging. It's fucking cute. The artwork is done by Natalie Miller. It is simple, vibrant, kind of dated, but it speaks to the Art Deco that she is trying to bring forth. I speak with sincerity. I love that card. As for diversity, it's diverse-ish. So yeah, it is actually colored, like with different vibrant colors for people. I really love this. It is sometimes ambiguous. I would say there's probably one card that isn't a full-on able-bodied small person. And I thought I would like the artwork more than I do, but I still need time to really feel out these cards, basically. These are sturdy though. These are sturdy, these are light, these are easy to shuffle. And this deck, I believe, was made in 2019. The book, I really appreciate. These cards are 3 by 5 inches, and I would give this deck a 4 out of 5. Just because I really appreciate what it was trying to do, and I've honestly seen worse. Okay guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate you making it this far. If you have any questions, put them down below. I'm doing this for fun. I don't know if I'm going to keep making videos or anything like that, but thank you. I know some of these decks a lot of people have, and some of these decks not a lot of people have, and that's totally fine. Let me know what your favorite deck is. Stay safe, stay sane, stay spiritual. Peace.